Good stuff. My friends, we are all fans of Risk of Rain here. And I'm sad to report the bad news. Gearbox's first Risk of Rain expansion gets hammered on Steam, as developer even fully admits the PC version is in a really bad place. Now, everyone was worried when Gearbox took over Risk of Rain. They were like, man, I hope they don't screw it up. And yeah, they did. They did. Let's start with the reviews, okay? Now, Risk of Rain is a game I love. A game I have. I played many hours of it. Obviously, I didn't buy the DLC because I don't trust Gearbox. And it's probably a pretty good thing I didn't. It's 43% reviews. Why? We will find out. But let's see the... Oh, my God. Look at this. Look at this graph. This is... Dude, this is before Gearbox got involved. And this is afterwards. Yeah, Gearbox took over Risk of Rain. Exactly. And it is... Oh, my... Look at this, man. So basically, Gearbox bought the team that does Risk of Rain, and they allowed the entire team of Risk of Rain to create Risk of Rain Returns, which was an homage and love letter to the first game and all the fans. That was the W, and that was the last W that happened. This is the next thing after this, after Risk of Rain Returns. Risk of Rain Returns was a good game. It was just, the first game added with elements of the second. And that it's like, side-scrolling and everything. Yeah, those are the Borderlands people, correct. I refunded the game a long time ago, but I heard the new update is actual poopy, stinky doo-doo feces on the wall. Chris Chan. So I'm here to say game bad. Okay, well, this guy didn't even play it. All right. Bad update, fixed your game, came back to try out again, heard what Gearbox did with the DLC. Now I'm so sad. It seems like Gearbox is taking over this game and making it, let's just say, worse. Don't buy the game, waste your time. Fun game if you downgrade to before the Seekers DLC. So if you are a regular player of this game, it looks like a relative fix is to downgrade the game to before the update. The update is what is screwing everything up. So besides the update, everything else is fine. And we'll go through exactly why, by the way. We'll go through exactly why. Base game and Survivors of the Void are 100% worth the purchase. That's the only stuff I played. I've not played the DLC yet. I was smart enough to not pre-order the DLC, guys. This is another reason. Never pre-order stuff. Never do it, guys. Even if you love the game, just don't do it. Save it for a couple of companies that you truly believe in, that will not bend you over and, give it to you in a place that you don't really feel enjoyable with. And that's the best way to do it. Yeah, literally shaking and pissing. God, okay. God's drunkest driver. That is a very interesting name. Doing my part, I love this game. I've recommended the game to a lot of people. I hate the DLC. Hold until it fixes. Broken, unplayable mess. So a lot of people are having a lot of issues. Some of the issues that people are having, this guy is giving some specifics. Final boss is invincible, soft locking the game. That's really bad. You literally cannot win. You get stuck in collisions all the time. Second input device is a controller. Deletes your save data. That's really bad, because that's like all of your heroes. That is like all of your character progression in terms of like their secondary skills that you unlock through like the challenges and stuff. That's all of that. That's really bad. Character skills getting completely bugged out, like the mercenary's default utility. It looks like it's broken apparently. Hit markers just disappearing. Item dispensers don't give you your item, making you waste your inventory. Oh, dude, I heard this was one of the issues. Apparently, you have to lock your frame rate, because one of the major issues of the game is that, and this is an issue that used to be in games like 20 years ago. In fact, it's one of the, in the speedrunning community, utilizing this, unlocking your frame rate, changing the frame rate numbers, and messing with the game, essentially, is a speedrunning tech. It allows you to do crazy things like increase your DPS for certain games or whatever like that. If you make the if you make it locked in at like a 120 frames per second as opposed to 60, because certain things, certain mechanics are just tied to the frame rates. This is something that we've known for 20 years, yet somehow, I guess, Gearbox screwed the pooch and decided to mess this up. So what they did was, physics is now attached to your frame rate. So if you have unlocked frame rate, and if you have a good computer, or if you have, like, 120 frame rate or 240, whatever, the physics will make you, like, zoom at twice, 4 times, 8 times the speed and distance, making the game completely unplayable at higher FPS. So in order to fix this, by the way, guys, I mean, it's just simple. You lock the frame, the FPS, which sucks, though, because, like, then the game doesn't look good. I think it's like 30 FPS is the sweet point. Is what people were telling me. But yeah, it's really sucks. It really sucks. We'll go into the article here. PC Gamer's reporting. They're at least giving some information, even though I'm not the biggest fan of PC Gamer today, but, at least they're giving the information. Gearbox's acquisition of Risk of Rain in 2022 did not inspire widespread celebration among fans. I did warn about this. I didn't do YouTube back then, but I did warn about this. That anyone who is celebrating Gearbox buying Risk of Rain was barking mad. Because, like, the one thing that they allowed the Gearbox makers, the Risk of Rain makers to do was make Risk of Rain Returns. That was their only W. But they have botched the Borderlands series. They don't really have anything else positive, really, that they've done. In fact, let me see. What else have they done? Gearbox recent games. Okay, Homeworld. Yeah, Tribes of Midgard. I guess that's, like, relatively okay. Oh, Remnant. Yeah, Remnant is the other good game that they did. And they weren't, like, I think they were only publisher on that. They weren't, like, the actual makers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, developed by Gunfire Games. Yeah, it was only published by Gearbox. So, they aren't directly responsible for any real positive games in the past, like, 5 years. Yeah, exactly. Don't trust Randy Pitchford's sweatshop. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, the first expansion, Seekers of the Storm, made by Gearbox, is out. And it is an absolute train wreck. We've covered already. A lot of the disgruntled people will cover more by looking at the Risk of Rain Reddit, getting the voice directly from the people. But in the medias, the most immediately obvious issue is the cost. How much is the cost? Wait a second. So a DLC like this should only be, like, what, $15, right? Okay, so it's $15. Here it is. Oh my god. Okay, so the DLC is mostly negative. Oh my lord. Yeah, you guys don't want to see that graph, do you? Oh my lord. That is very bad. Yeah, bugs are linked to your FPS like everything else. DLC got little to no playtesting. It's so obvious how many bugs there are that could be fixed. Update came with the DLC that broke the game. New characters in the DLC feel like trash to play. Items are terrible or insanely overpowered, and 3 new mobs are mediocre at best. The only good parts are the new stages. This is just embarrassing. Gearbox broke everything. More bugs than in Sectarium. Holy smokes, how do you mess up a game so badly with a single update in DLC? Turn my favorite indie game of all time into a AAA cash grab. No, that's not a nice comment. Since the DLC have been getting kicked from the games multiple times. Yeah, people can't actually connect to the game as well. Like, that's a big problem as well. Who would have predicted that selling the game to the developer responsible for Aliens, Colonial Marines, Battleborn, Duke Nukem Forever, and the disaster that is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands DLC, and the new Tales from the Borderlands could ever possibly lead to the company putting out a DLC that not only screws over the people that didn't buy the DLC, but also conflicts so heavily with the core loop of the game, looking at you, Twisted and Halcyon Knight elites, that makes it almost unplayable beyond a surface level. Not me, and definitely not anyone else either. Like I said, I'm sorry, guys. I warned you. I warned you. There are certain people in the games industry you just never trust. Ubisoft, EA, Gearbox. Those are like some of the top 3 on the list, guys. Like, these are some of the top 3 on the list. Yeah, don't you guys have phones? Yeah, aspects of Blizzard. Yeah, Blizzard ever makes a mobile game. Generally don't trust them. Sometimes they have rare Ws, like Warcraft Rumble is actually pretty decent. But yeah, Diablo Immortal. Yeah, exactly. It's really, really pathetic how much of a drastic hellhole this has become. But yeah, regional pricing. Oh yeah, so $15 is okay, but the regional pricing originally costed the expansion to be double or more of the $15 price tag in certain areas. So I think it was like certain parts of Europe, for example, if you lived in certain parts of Europe, you didn't pay $15, you paid the literal equivalent of like 30 plus. And so on and so forth. Twice as much as Survivors of the Void in Brazil. Yeah, Brazil, for instance. Yeah, exactly. And so basically, US was getting the correct price of $15, and other places around the world were not. It's absolutely atrocious. And then they finally addressed the issue yesterday. How long has the update been out? Okay, let's see. When did Seekers of the Storm come out? Let's see how long this issue's been. Okay, so for 3 days, the price was an issue all around the world. For 3 entire days. It should have been fixed immediately. Like, this should have been an immediate fix. And, of course, Gearbox is, a small indie company. I'm kidding, they're not. And they decided to, I think they did it on purpose, guys. Like, I'll just toss it out there. When a publishing company screws something up like this, and they're a major publishing company, they know how to fix this immediately. This is not the first game that Gearbox has developed and published. They're responsible for the production, for the publishing, for the creation of dozens of games. This is not something new to them, okay? So in the meantime, when they're doing damage control like this and they're taking a long time, sometimes you can give them some slack and be like, it's something that you have to just wait until it gets fixed and so on and so forth. And then sometimes when it's something so simple like this, you're like, did you guys actually do this on accident? I don't know. I really don't know, because it's just something that they've done before. And it's something that is an issue that is so easily addressed, except by almost purposeful obtuseness. I don't know. I don't want to go fully into conspiracy theory-ness over here, but it's just something that Gearbox should have known better on and should have really, really fixed. But Gearbox finally addressed the issue in an update yesterday, stating that it's changing the pricing of Seekers of the Storm in select markets to bring it more in line with the prior expansion. Let's read the actual statement. We've worked with our partners at Steam to adjust the pricing of Seekers of the Storm in select markets. The new pricing more closely matches the prices from Survivors of the Void. This change has begun and will continue to take effect over the next few hours. So here's the other problem. So if you've already purchased the DLC, do you get a refund? No. You could, but you don't. And I will tell you the reason why. When I was saying that I didn't want to go into conspiracy theory-ness and be overly negative, this is why I still said what I said. Those who have purchased the content should request a refund and then repurchase at the updated price once they see it's been adjusted. What they did instead of doing so here are two paths. What they should have done. What they should have done, and what other publishers and other game developers have done in an issue of a price screw up like this on this level, is they literally force the refund on their end. And then you have to rebuy it yourself, or they just give you store credit in certain other stores. I think Ubisoft has done that in the past, so on and so forth. But in instance of Steam, it wouldn't be Steam credit. They would literally just refund you the price. And this has happened. People have been refunded the price and the price difference between the DLC. We know this because CA literally did this when they screwed up their entire debacle with Shadows of Change and Total War Warhammer. And other companies have done this. I think City Skylines, Paradox Games had their rare W after completely screwing over their game for an entire year. They had an entire debacle where the entire games company was after their literal necks for screwing up the first DLC, basically doing a full cash grab deal, and they were about to lose everything. They had to do a forced refund on their own end, where they basically refunded you the price difference of what the price should have been versus what the price was. So this is something that should have happened. But no, Gearbox decided to do Path B. Path B, or Path 2, is they put it onto the consumer. So first, the consumer has to know there's an issue. They have to know, like, wait, why am I paying $30? This is twice the amount I should be. So first, they have to have knowledge. That's barrier 1. Barrier 2 is they have to know this statement. So that is a second barrier of entry. Third barrier is that they have to request the refund themselves through Steam and then repurchase after it's adjusted. So they have to have the entire onus to make sure they check it at the right time and so on and so forth. 3 barriers to getting the job done that should have been under Gearbox's purview. Do you know why? It's because Gearbox wants to squeeze you motherfuckers out of your money. They want you to eat shit. They want you to not know about the change, about the pricing change, about the steps to go through it, or whatever. They want one of these steps to fuck up so they get $5 extra, or $10 extra, or $15 extra, or whatever from whatever region was screwed over by the pricing. That's why. This shows a complete, literal disregard for the consumer. And if you're watching this, if you're reading this, if you're in here and chat with us while we do this live on Twitch, guys, they did this to you on purpose. I don't know what else to tell you. They want to milk you dry? Yeah, exactly. Because if they didn't, if they really felt sorry, they would have done option A and made sure that everyone gets the right price on their end. They would have refunded and so on and so forth. They would have done it through Steam. Other companies have done this. This is not new hat. This is something that other companies have done regularly, and consumers appreciate it. We know that mistakes can happen, but we expect when mistakes happen as the consumer that a company tries to actually do right by the consumer in order to fix their dog shit mistake. But instead, they have created more barriers to get it fixed because they want to make sure that if someone has failed step 1, 2, or 3, as I said above, they will keep the extra $10, $15, $20, whatever. And they will be left holding less of the bag, as in Gearbox. This shows how little they care about you guys. I'm sorry. I will never blow smoke up your ass. I will always give a company the benefit of the doubt, judge an apology fairly if they show true action to fix it. And I will always cover and call out a game company for doing something terrible and just actually heinous and completely incorrect in the eyes of the consumer when they do so. This is the latter. I'm not being overly harsh here, guys. I am being completely on the money. I promise you. Other companies have done this right. Gearbox chose not to. And it's not because they're dumb. It's really not because they're dumb. Anyways, going on to the next problem. So that was problem 1. Problem 2 is not so easily fixed. Seekers of the Storm as a game, as an update, is a mess. And the problems aren't limited to the players who bought the expansion. Risk of Rain 2 update released alongside the expansion has introduced the same bugs introduced in the DLC to everyone. That's why we saw the base game's the reviews on Steam also go down. The DLC is mostly negative, and the base game is now at 43% positive, which is drastically lower considering before this DLC came out, Risk of Rain 2 was overwhelmingly positive. It's considered one of the best indie games of all time. One of the most replayable, one of the most fun, one of the most this, one of the most that. It's just a really well-made game. And this is just a drastic downgrade in quality. Maybe the most significant issue is that for some reason, Seekers of the Storm, I talked about this, yeah. Physics Systems is now tied to its frame rate. This is not what happened before. This is new. This is a new bug. A Gearbox developer, when asked about it in Discord, GB expressed and said that FPS-related issues and all the ramifications on balance, physics, attack speed, movement, etc. were not intentional. It's not intentional, but it's just fucking dog shit because this is an issue the game's developers have known about for fucking decades. For actual decades, guys. Like, I'm not kidding you. The speedrunner community, like I said, uses these for old games to cheese the old games and break the games and do speedrunning records and stuff all the time. And, like, we saw this frame rate issue in Only Up. Only Up is one of the newer games that, you know, they're a small indie company. They're actually a small indie company. I think it's like, what, 2 people in that team? 1 person in that team? Something like that. And it was like a small indie game that was just like a, you know, little race course you run. And the speedrunners of that would use the FPS bug, which is, you know, the thing that happens when your physics engine is tied to the FPS. And they would use that to break jumps and jump extra high and so on and so forth. That's, I guess, a more recent example of when it's not like, you know, egregiously game breaking and only speedrunners really use the strat. But this is how it, when it is attached to everything, balance, physics, bugs, movement, attack speed, blah, 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 this is how it breaks a game. It's just a, you know, a different side of the coin that I'm trying to tell you about and illustrate. This is on our top handful of issues we're investigating. As a stopgap, he said players experience issues should lock the game at 60 FPS. Other people who are actually playing the game right now recommend 30. Your mileage may vary. I don't know what's going on with that. I didn't buy this dogshit DLC, so I can't tell you from example what to do to fix it. I do apologize. I wish I could. But apparently this article is saying 60. People who play the game are saying 30. Try both. And let me know what you guys think. The team is aware of the problem. We're actively working on it. GBX Preston wrote. But for now, playing at 60 will deliver the expected behavior for most of the issues that arise from this bug. It won't even fix all of it, just apparently most of it. He acknowledged that the PC version of Risk of Rain is in a really bad place following the update, which is quite a thing to admit. Encourage players to report a bug. Here's the actual statement. Yeah, PC is in a really bad place. Team is cracking away at it. Sorry, PC players, which are the vast majority of players of Risk of Rain 2. You guys are fucked. That's basically what he says. If you find any bugs you can't readily find in DLC 2 bug reports thread, please report them. We're reviewing every single one of those reports. They're instrumental in getting these issues to QA and the programmers. Honestly, Gearbox deserves what they get here. All of the ire, all the refunds, every single bit of negative press they get. Guys, they fucked over so many games in the past. And no one, like, people were upset. But this is on a different level. Because it's such a good game without them. And it's such a drastic difference with them. Gearbox really deserves every fucking iota of shit they get. And I don't want you guys to feel bad. If you're a fan of Risk of Rain and Risk of Rain 2 and all of that, like the original developers, please know, when the Risk of Rain developers sold their game company to Gearbox, they already got paid. So at this point, anything you do to negatively impact Gearbox only really impacts Gearbox. Sure, the devs that still work for, Gearbox that changed hands from the original game company that made the game is now in a little bit of a worse position. Maybe they could get fired or whatever, which does suck. But you know what? Mostly Gearbox will be hurt. So don't feel bad about putting negative reviews. Don't really feel bad about refunding. The people at the original makers of this game, Gunfire Games, who made Risk of Rain 2, they already got paid. They already made their millions from selling their company. They're going to be okay. The net result is ugly. Seekers of the Storm currently rocks 34%, mostly negative on DLC reviews. And the Risk of Rain's recent reviews, I think it's actually lower now. I think the DLC reviews are now at, let's see, 21%. So it's not 34%, it's now 21%. It deserves to get dragged into the fucking mud. And I really hope that other game companies take note. Paradox, I'm looking at you. Other companies that do the same shit, I'm looking at you. Us gamers, we are sick and fucking tired of you all motherfuckers giving us a bowl of shit. Giving us the spoon and telling us to eat it. We're tired of this shit. We really are. And I really hope that this continues to remarkably hit them negatively. We want that. This is the time to hit hard. Remember, guys, we saw this with Helldivers 2. and we continue to see with Helldivers 2 and so on and so forth. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. If you have a loud enough and large enough group of people that yell, bitch, moan, negatively review bomb, so on and so forth. I don't even consider a review bomb. This is like properly negatively reporting the issues of the game. It affects the game company. It really does. It affects their bottom line. If they own stock, is Gearbox publicly traded? Let's see. I bet they are. I bet you fucking money they are. Gearbox stock price. They are. What a fucking shocker, guys. Every single company that is publicly traded in the games world is fucking dog shit. Every single one of them. So they've been on a downtrend at a peak of 0.3 all the way down to 0.05. Jesus Christ, man. That is a over 72% price drop. Oh, sorry, over a, okay, here we go. Over a 200% price drop. They deserve every fucking second of it. Hit them harder, guys. Trust me on this. It works. Nothing affects a dog shit publicly traded game company who screwed you over for public profits. Screwed you over to hit their quarterlies. There's no doubt in my mind that they knew of these problems and they could have let this bun sit in the oven for a couple of months more, work out the bugs. But they chose to let this update go out sooner rather than later because they wanted the immediate price profits. They wanted the immediate hit of dopamine, of money going to their shareholders, because when a game company like this is owned by the stock market, it is always money going to shareholders instead of money going to the actual developers of the game and the actual, the game players or anything like that. It is always quality going down so the number can go up even a modicum amount. And a lot of times it hits them completely negatively. They deserve what they fucking get. Make them the shit eaters. Right now, they're making you look like the shit eaters. I'm sorry, I will always tell you how it is. But here are the memes. Apparently there's some funny memes, I guess. I don't really find this funny. But yeah, this is the timeline. Looking at the timeline where literally anyone else but Gearbox acquired Risk of Rain 2. Yep, exactly. And apparently damage tied to frame rate. Welcome back, Destiny 2 Lightfall. Yep, exactly. Yeah, so this game company screwed over all of these other... Gearbox has screwed over all of these other game companies. And now they're screwing over Risk of Rain. This is what happens, guys. This is what happens. It is still such a pathetic change. It is still such a pathetic change. From Aliens, Colonial Marines, Battleborn, which was such a classic, man. Anyone who played Battleborn at its peak, guys, you know. Whoever in the audience knows Battleborn. Oh my god, man! I just want my favorite. I just want to play my favorite playable soundtrack, man. Borderlands and now Risk of Rain 2. Exactly. Time delta time. This is like, I think what the issue is here. I think this is like the coding issue that fucks up frame rate for, like, all the other issues. We can open this and check. For those who don't know, which probably most people don't because it's pretty niche for game programming, delta time is a method. So this is the issue, guys, and it's a very well-known issue. I've known about, like, the at least general part of the issue, like I told you, but this is the actual explanation. Delta time is a method to tie in-game time to real time and not frame rate. This is done basically, I think, by multiplying the time by drops of frame rate. This is extremely simplified. The current issue is stuff tied to frame rate because it's the devs who used frame rate for time to do calculations. So whether the devs were not trained, whether they're dog shit, whether the Gearbox worms went in them, or whether Gearbox, in order to make quarterlies, make the stock line go up, they decided to fire all their good devs because the good devs were probably paid more. That's an entire possibility as well. Whatever happened, the devs fucked this up. which is a change. Delta time is meant to compensate for the frame rate changes during using math, allowing a constant time value in line with real life. So, yeah, this is exactly. New Risk of Rain devs are calculating physics whenever your computer renders a frame. Think of it as if a game would only pull you down due to gravity every time you rendered a new frame. This would make higher frame rates apply more gravity, lower frame rates apply less gravity. Except this is tied to also things like attack speed, things like bullets, things like the amount of projectiles on the screen, and everything all included. So it's basically frame rate attached to everything. That's what the issue is. That is like one of the major issues. Probably their biggest issue here. And like even cavemen know how to fix this, and these fucking guys don't. That's what the issue is. So let's take a quick gander at the memes directly on the Reddit. All of you get out except you stay. And yeah, exactly. The new DLC. This is the only good DLC item. Pretty much all the other items and everything introduced in the DLC are dog shit. Completely unbalanced. A lot of them are useless. A lot of them are completely not fun to play. The new hero is apparently not fun to play. All kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Oh, nice. I finally got the scavenger log. I wonder what it says. I didn't know the new scavenger log. You guys really aren't playing this game. You see, the thing is, for people like this, a lot of people listened when, the games community as a whole said, uh-oh, Gearbox is buying our favorite indie game. We should probably no longer play our favorite indie game. Or whenever the update happens, we know that it's just going to go downhill. That's what happened. No one is playing this because A, the game is dog shit now, and B, when the game is not dog shit, it's still such a downgrade compared to the original base game and the base DLC. It's just, there's no reason to. Why the fuck would you pay $15 for something that breaks your game? And now, unfortunately, it's not even tied to buying the DLC. It just breaks the game for fucking everyone. Holy shit. Holy shit. I am so pissed, man. I played the piss out of Risk of Rain 2. I played the piss out of it. Get R2 Modman and use these mods. So I guess these are mods that can actually fix some of the issues that people are suffering through in the game. What do they fix? Let's see. Multiple mods. Here's a description. Force anti-aliasing. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. I will link this in the thing below. I will link this in the description below. So guys, here you go. I will link this in the description below. If you look on Reddit, it's labeled as, if you're not on PC. If you're on PC, it's probably a good idea to get this mod. SOTS Fixer. So SOTS is Seekers of the Storm update, and apparently fixes the majority of issues in the update. So if you are suffering from the game, you had the unfortunate issue of buying the DLC, or you didn't even buy the DLC and it fucked up over your game, which it did for many, get this mod. It'll at least help until official fixes are out. Maximum cope. Oh my god, it's over. It attempts to fix some, but not all, of the frame rate dependent issues of the gameplay. Okay, so these will at least help some of the things. So guys, I will link this in the description below. Hopefully this helps the issue for you. I'm glad I looked at the Reddit. Sometimes Reddit delivers. Modders always help. Modders a lot of times fix games that are in complete dogshit mode. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But if you like this video, give it a like, give it a sub, share it with your friends. I will always give you the full information, the straight information, no bullshit, no BS, right here. So, and hopefully the situation gets better for you guys soon. If you ended up, getting screwed over by this, I really apologize. This sucks for anyone playing this game. And, frankly, continue being loud, continue being proud, continue to yell, scream, bitch, moan, refund the game. Tell your friends to refund the game. Tell your friends, even if they don't want to refund the game, that they should at least negative downvote the game on Steam. It affects their stock price. You can see it right here. Proof of the pudding is in the eating. And right now, Gearbox is deservedly eating fucking shit. I hope they fix this shit. They'll fix this shit. It'll take a while, Hammer Shark. So they'll fix this shit, but who knows how long it'll take them. Gearbox is dog shit, so only God knows how long it'll take for them to fix it. But in the meantime, even if they fix it, continue to fucking ream them. Gearbox has done this type of shit for so many games, so many game companies, and at this point, they deserve to fucking die as a company. I will just straight up say it. Gearbox does not deserve to exist as a company. They've done this too much. And I said the same about the other companies who do similar shit. They really, really do. If you are someone who likes good indie games, please, please know you don't have to eat shit. There are plenty of good other games out there. There are plenty of games that don't sell out to a fucking dog shit publicly traded company like Gearbox. You can eat good. You do not have to eat shit. There you go. That's my news. Anyways, sorry for the sad news. What do you guys think? Are you suffering from these issues with Risk of Rain? Let me know in the comments below. How did you fix it? Were you able to fix it? Did you use the mod that I told you about? Or did you find out about it from someone else? Did it work? Let me know in the comments below. And how do you feel about the situation? Definitely let me know. I used to play a lot of this game. It makes me so sad to report on this. But you know what? Like I said, I'm glad to at least tell you all about it. I'll see you in the next video, guys.